Right back at it. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a podcast to step to. Think of how many podcasts you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I left you. Yo, what up, what up, what up? This is the Collective Podcast. I am AC from LA. To my left, I got my man Saucier Sr. And then down below, I got my man Trey Hop, Anthony Carter, Rodney Saucier, Trey Hopson. What up, what up? How's everybody doing?
Good, man. Good. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm growing my hair out. You know, I'm still lined up, but I'm growing it out. I did this back in March, April-ish, and all of that, and we'll see how it goes.
You let anything grow in the back? Let me see.
No, look, I do not have a ducktail.
he got a shag. He getting the OG shag right in the back.
Trey is taking it back to the day. Let's take an NWA line. Trey is taking it to the days of way back.
Right.
Nah, man, no ducktail. When I think I cut that Halloween 1992.
Oh.
Yeah, Halloween 92.
That was an event.
Yeah, it was an event. I was going somewhere that night, and I was like, you know what? It's time. And then soon after that, I cut it all the way off. I went bald. I was like, oh, okay, this is different for me.
You cut your whole
Here we
curl.
go.
You didn't just cut the back.
I cut my S curl. I cut my S curl? Is that what you're saying? I cut my S curl. All right, man. Joining us. Hold on, nah, too late. Your dry ass joke. Joining us straight out of the same area as Rodney. I won't give you a city, but from the same area. T. Cobbs, aka Anthony Cobbs, aka AC Sports Live.
What up?
Our very special guest host. One of two today. We got another one coming in about 20 minutes or so. What up? Shout out to the Bruins.
LA hat, man. We got the jump man going on.
All right, man. I can't wait. wait. I'm gonna have to save up though. I know it's not gonna be cheap.
I know, right?
It's not gonna be cheap at all.
The days of getting free shoes, man. I wish we could go back. Right. Now we're gonna have jump man, but it's gonna cost like $100 for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
There you go. And listen, we are going to save college. Oh, hello, viewers. Hello, listeners. Sorry about that. We are going to save that discussion. We're going to save college football. And, of course, we're going to save the UCLA developments for when Jimmy gets on. Because Rodney and I were talking about it earlier. And I was like, well, I was on campus as a writer. And then, all my friends were athletes. But they were actually in the athletic department and went through the Reebok era. I don't think they made it to the Adidas era. But I want you guys to speak to that. Yeah, that's right, Jay Moore. That's what's up. And Jay Moore was in the athletic department with them, straight up.
You need to bring Jay Moore on here. Bring Jay Moore on here. He ain't doing that with his orange sweater on. Come on, Jay.
You know what I'm saying? I've invited him. He's not hopping on. Oh, look. Oh, and he's got. We were just doing it with the Bruins today. Okay.
You might as well. What the SC guys? We should invite some SC guys.
What is SC? I don't even know.
Spoiled children.
I don't even. Yeah.
Oh, children.
Yeah. A good friend of mine gets in that fight, and he has like UCLA alumni on his plates. I mean USC alumni on his plates, and he didn't even go there, but it's fine. Like he's chosen that. That's his line in the sand. He prefers that university, and it's like, whatever.
I found that most SC fans aren't alumni. They're actually Raider fans that don't necessarily want to be Raiders fans anymore. So all you gotta do that. I found out, who the true SC fans are.
Yeah.
Who would no longer want to be a Raiders fan? I don't know.
When they left LA.
Those people, I don't know about that.
They want to relocate to Oakland, and their show ain't going to Las Vegas.
Hey, man, I have yet to say that full name.
What full name, Rod?
Las Vegas Raiders.
That full name.
I didn't hear him. What did he say, Rod?
Say it, Rodney.
That name that Cobbs just said.
Say it.
All right.
I've yet to call them that.
Come on, Rod.
Say it.
Raiders.
Oakland. Oh, Oakland.
He's talking to you, Kyle. Mike Stafford, Michael C. Stafford Jr. is like, nah. They ride for their team.
No, it's some folks that didn't go. There's some folks that said forget that. They mad. They should have stayed in LA.
You know what? I think that the LA fans stayed loyal no matter what. But I think that a lot of the Northern California fans
upset
that lost them twice are like, nah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean, the Raiders are LA, man. But then
No,
again, they are
Mr.
Oakland
Stafford,
too.
they are absolutely the Las Vegas Raiders, and they got a $3 billion stadium to prove it. They are the Las Vegas Raiders. LVR.
Mike, with you, they are the Raiders.
Yes, they are the Las Vegas Raiders.
They are the Raiders, man, of Las Vegas.
Hey, they are the high. You know what they are? They are the highest bidder Raiders. How about that?
It feels like an XFL.
They might
team.
become the Wichita Raiders if Wichita builds them a stadium.
Hey, they should have been the Carson Raiders.
That might have been dope.
If it hadn't been for certain owners.
Oh, well, that would have been nice if they'd have been in Carson. Now, that's what I was really pulling for that. That would have been really good for the city of Carson to have him out there.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been nice.
Yeah.
I was actually pulling for Carson over Inglewood.
Oh, me too. I'm bitter. I am bitter.
I'm bitter.
I'm very bitter. I don't like going to Vegas at all. So that's one reason.
Maybe one-day trips. One-day trips are nice.
Much, man. My dad, when he passed, that's where he was living, and it's too much. As soon as I hit the state line, I start crying. I can't do it.
I can't post Michael Stafford's quotes quickly enough. Goodness, he is like, he got his shit on auto post. Let me read some of this to our listeners. So we're talking, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders, or the highest bidder Raiders, whatever you want to call them. Maybe they'll be the Wichita Raiders in 3 or 4 seasons. Michael was saying they travel well. Rodney and Trey were saying that they wanted them in Carson. Cobb said it would have been dope. Stafford is saying it never would have happened. Raiders and Chargers would never share a stadium.
Well, that's
what he's saying.
The Chargers should have never, ever
left San Diego.
Come here.
They should have went to Long Beach. It'd been a Long Beach Chargers.
And the Chargers fans are Raiders fans. We packed their stadium out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Chargers only got like 6 fans. That's it.
Yeah, I know both.
And they're all family.
I know both of them.
You say you know both of them, huh?
6 of them.
Hey, and I know all 3 Eagles fans. 2 of them right there at the bottom of the screen, and my mother-in-law.
Man, we got Eagles fans in every state in the country, man.
I know. I was joking.
I know you're joking. It's like you got San Francisco fans everywhere too.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. I like the underdog. Now, I'm a 49er fan. You guys know that, but I've been pulling for the Chargers, and boy, do I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them.
I pulled for them 5 weeks in a row, and they lost 5 weeks in a row.
That means he was betting on them.
and literally, I was like, they're going to definitely come through this week. They got to. They got to. I'm betting black. I'm betting on the coach. Let's go. I know you're going to pull these boys together.
Hey, check it out. Check it out. So listen. Episode 40 of the Collective Podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We have mad viewers right now on Facebook and YouTube, maybe some on LinkedIn also. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for staying. Please comment. Please participate. Now, the Collective Podcast is brought to you by Legal Hustle Apparel. And if you want Legal Hustle Apparel, it's at thelegalhustle.com. Thelegalhustle.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, masks, hats, all of that. Thelegalhustle.com. Bam. AC, Rod Saucier, Trey Hop, and A Cobbs, T Cobbs, all that Cobbs joining us. So we're going to hold off on college football But what we're gonna talk about? We got NBA draft, Paul George, Doc Rivers, Kendrick Perkins.
Man, we got Mike Stafford on the line talking about Raiders, but man, the Clippers, I'm pretty sure Mike got something to say. The Clippers just gave Paul George the max. How do you get the max when you don't perform? You don't get the max on potential.
Let me tell you, he hit the side of the backboard. That's what I remember in the playoffs.
I can do that.
You guys talk about Paul George?
Yeah.
Well, since you brought him up, this is what Paul George had to say. This is Paul George talking. The way I was being used, I felt Doc was trying to play me as like a Ray Allen or like a JJ Redick, all pin downs. I can do it, but that ain't my game. I got 3 more for him. No, 4 more. Just hold tight. Let me get through it.
Okay.
I need some flow. I need some mixes of pick and rolls. I need some post ups, and he doesn't talk this cool. Let's be clear. Just different touches. You know what I mean? That last season was just hard overall. We never worked on what to do differently. We were just literally having the same shit happen over and over again. It started to play a trick on you like, man, what's going on? At the end of the day, I don't think we deserved it. We wasn't prepared enough going into it. Just us making adjustment standpoint, we wasn't prepared. You still not prepared, bro.
Well, I think
we didn't put the work into it. It was kind of just like, yo, we got PG, we got Kawhi, we got Lou Will, we got
Trez.
We're gonna be straight. We're gonna figure it out. All right, you guys, that was Paul George talking. We'll get to the reactions from Doc Rivers and Kendrick Perkins in a minute. React.
Well, yeah. Mine is just real quick. He said, because I want to laugh at the stuff you guys have to say. But he said he was using me like Ray Allen. But Ray Allen's better than you. So he wasn't using you like Ray Allen. Ray Allen is better than you. And Ray Allen was clutch. When Ray Allen shot the ball, you expected it to go in. And when he missed, you were like, oh, man, Paul George, I've never expected your shots to go in. When you shoot the ball, we hope they go in. If they go in, good. But one of your biggest highlights that I remember that stays fresh in my mind is this one. Right there. And that was Lillard doing that to you when you tried to say he took a bad shot. So that can't be your highlight with a max deal. Somebody going like this. Because that's what we're going to do to the Clippers next season when playoffs come around. That right there. Y'all remember that because I'm going to do that one right there.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. You want to go next, Mr. Baby Hair?
Oh, teacher, me.
You got rid of baby hair.
You can't
baby hair got hacked.
Well, he ain't got edges. You got to have baby hair.
First, the very first paragraph. I can do it, but it ain't my game. If you can do it, why did you? That's my first question. Who wouldn't want to come down? Who wouldn't want to come off a pin down screen and launch a jumper? Like you live for that.
It's not my game.
You can't play without a high. And see, he said what I've been saying about today's players, and everybody calls me a hater. Rod, you just old. These players no longer these players no longer create for themselves. They get dependent on a high screen so much that when they don't get one, they can't get to the basket. You have to be able to change your game up in the playoffs, point blank. So if you're saying that Doc just said, oh, we got you, Kawhi, Lou, and Trez, and you guys should be able to figure out, you should be able to figure it out. You guys are elite players. You can basically take elite players like Magic, like Jordan, like Kobe, like LeBron, and put any coach there, and they would succeed. They know the game. They're veterans. He's a veteran. He should know the game. He should know exactly what to do. If there's a situation where he's got a smaller guy in the paint and he knows he could post that guy up, he should be yelling at Patrick Beverly or whoever's playing point guard. Hey, swing the ball over there, dump it to me. I got one right here. You don't move. Break the play. Quarterbacks call audibles all the time. It's the same in basketball. It's no different. It's reliant on mismatches. So if you have a mismatch, then you should be talking to whoever has the ball on your team. That's not for Doc to do. And Doc cannot play for you, Paul George. Doc is not out there on the floor. So if you see something that needs to be corrected and is going to help your team win, correct it your damn self.
Yes.
You
want to eat money.
Before you go, Cobbs, let me just respond to this real quick. So Stafford, here's the thing. He had a player option, but this extension replaces the player option. So his player option wasn't for 5 seasons. So I understand what you're saying about the Clippers not having a choice per se, because, I guess because they went all in on him already. But this wasn't the player option. This replaced the player option. So I just want to say that before AC goes. All right, go ahead, Kyle.
I'm keeping it real short. We are in a generation, in a time in history where we are rewarding, praising, and putting these guys the cart before the horse, whatever phrase you want to use. I believe you should reward performance, championships, and things of that nature. Just because you don't want to lose a guy, I don't think you should give a guy the kind of money that's going to cripple your organization for years to come. I like Paul George's skill set. I believe Mike said his skill set is more complete than Ray Allen. I argue that. Young Ray Allen was a monster.
Thank you.
All complete game and money. And the guy, he was the dude in Seattle.
Yes.
He scaled back when his game was no longer, he was no longer 25 anymore. When he, got a little bit older, he changed his game to a jump shot, a set shooter, spot up shooter, and he could still create a shot off of 1 or 2 dribbles. He was before Klay Thompson was Ray Allen. But the same thing, I get what you're saying. Paul George's skill set. You can't pay a guy off skill set. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that have out of this world skills.
But that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're paying guys for skill sets and not because they can actually play. That's the bad part.
That's bad. I mean, otherwise you might as well pay Tyler Hero. You know what I'm saying? Like skills versus Cones. There's nothing he can't do. I think Paul George, when Paul George played for the Indiana Pacers and he gave LeBron a couple of highlight plays, and we were like, okay, this kid has some potential to be a really good player. Is mentally, can he handle that weight? And we were seeing mentally he can't carry that weight. Pretty soon he's going to be DeMar DeRozan. He can do a lot of things, and he can help you win some games throughout the season. But mentally, will he get that edge? And what he said and why they got beat, I would have loved it if he would have just said, "Man, we just got beat. We didn't want it as much as they did. We got some work to do." Just keep it real, man. Adjustments, my foot. You're a professional basketball player. What could Doc Rivers really do?
Yeah, and he didn't put none of the blame on him.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't play well. I hit the side of the backboard. I was out of it. I messed up, man. I was out there tripping. Right. I didn't help Kawhi at all to that one. That one game I played decent. So I'm pandemic P till I prove wrong, and y'all gonna watch me. I'm gonna change y'all narrative. Just watch me. I would have appreciated that, man.
Right.
But you pay guys like that, you stuck with them. So now if Kawhi don't re-up, you stuck with Paul George, and Kawhi gonna go back to Toronto. Kawhi gonna go to Miami somewhere and get him a chip. Yeah. But the Clippers gonna clip. That's the ongoing phrase, man. The Clippers gonna clip.
That's it.
Well,
no Clippers. So
for me, I'll just spend my time showing you guys the other quotes. I don't have anything to say about that. Like, I'm embarrassed.
You're gonna say California. You should have paid Mookie.
You already know.
Oh, I'm sure Mookie could have done better than 3 for 12.
Did y'all see Mookie in the gym the other day working on his off-season workout, and he was hooping?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, on sports he was coming off like picks and cones, shooting jumpers.
Why you sound surprised?
No,
It's
I'm not
Mookie.
surprised. No, I'm
That's
just
what he does.
It's Mookie.
Mookie.
All right. This is what Doc Rivers had to say. Back to Paul George. Hey, listen, I enjoyed coaching him, Rivers said of George via the Philadelphia Inquirer. So not a lot to say there. It ain't going to be much different with Ty Lue.
It's not.
But here's what he said. Listen, we lost the game, and I think everybody needs to take ownership. We can always do better. Players can play better. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll leave it there. Right. So Doc owns it, but your boy doesn't. But I'm not surprised. He didn't seem like a guy who likes to take ownership of bad things, right? But here's what Kendrick Perkins had to say. And I used to think Kendrick Perkins, what he was. He was a really big whiner as a player. I know that Glenn Davis was big baby, but he looked like a big baby all the time. This guy, Kendrick Perkins, but I like some of the things that he has to say, especially when he calls players out. So his take on it, he calls it a coward move by Paul George, blaming Doc Rivers, because essentially that's what he said. Like George even said, we talked amongst ourselves and we said we're going to be all right. Nah, we should have said something differently. Yeah, you should have had a greater sense of urgency. Guess who had a great sense of urgency? Denver. Guess who else had a great sense of urgency? Rod. But he couldn't do anything about it because he wasn't on the court. He watched all his championship hopes and dreams dwindle away with PG no-show. Come on.
Pandemic P.
Well, I don't get this part. You've been running those pin downs all year, and now it's a problem when you get to the playoffs. You got all this to say, but when it gets to the playoffs, like the playoffs will expose you.
Yeah.
So, that's that. Doc is going to always be that guy that takes the high road, and he did it. But I'm glad Doc kind of clapped back and said, "Hey, players can play better," because normally Doc will just leave it at, "Oh, we can all get better," and he'll smile it off. But I'm glad he kind of gave an underlying shot.
You need to do
like,
something.
Dude, you need to go and work. Because I didn't know what I was going to do with you this year anyway.
He should have just put in there somewhere, just backboard, and that's it.
Some people hitting the side of the backboard and got things to say. I won a championship. I won a championship in 2008. What? I got me one.
Yeah, I'm a champ.
I got one, even though I'm gonna milk that one. I'm gonna milk that championship till I get one more contract.
What he also could have said was, "Who do you think you are, young man? Mookie?"
Oh, you ain't Mookie.
You're not.
You ain't Mookie Betts.
You have no championships, let alone championships in different cities, in different conferences.
Matter of fact, ain't you from Palmdale? Where you from?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody from
Lancaster.
You're only as good as the city you from. You're only as good as you from Scranton, Ohio. You can't be much. I could be president of this country. Scranton.
All right, I don't know what Stafford talking about now. Maybe you guys have some insight into this.
Which one? Wanted to slap PG in the throat, messing around with his baby girl. Oh, you don't hear that story. Doc's daughter is Doc's daughter. I think Seth Curry handled that one for us. I think Seth Curry gave them.
So I was thinking maybe he had a different daughter, but otherwise Michael is letting us in.
He tried to holler at her after they're married.
Well, I think it's just Seth Curry's now with Doc Rivers' daughter. Mm-hmm. PG used to be with her.
Oh, okay.
And Seth wanted to make sure he knew about that by giving him straight buckets, shooting 85% from three, and getting him a new contract with his daddy, his father-in-law.
Man, straight Tommy Shepard style on it.
He went, and I got your woman. He
went Tommy Shepard.
He was like,
Are we even? Not so. Are we even?
Are we finished or are we done?
Are we finished or are we done?
Is we finished or are we done? Keep my name out your mouth, homie. Put some respect on my name.
Please.
So that's another thing. There's a lot of this going around where the players are dating the coaches' daughters and or teammates, sisters, and all this kind of stuff. You guys think that's a good thing, or is that something you think they should stay away from?
It's a conflict of interest. I mean,
Right.
it's gonna be tough, man. If anything goes wrong,
Yeah, I got something to say about that.
go for it.
And see,
I got something too.
I think you're gonna say what I'm gonna say. Because he's talking about Ty Lue. Come on. Let's see if we're on the same page, JC.
Here, go ahead, Trey.
So, for Doc to say Lue would be the same thing is a diverse to Ty Lue. Why? Ty Lue did come down from 3-1 when the Warriors were up 3-1. Ty Lue did come back. However, if Draymond Green does not get suspended, they don't come back and win that series. What was the center that got hurt? The game Draymond after he got suspended.
The big Australian kid. Bogut.
Okay. If Bogut doesn't get hurt and go down, they win that series too. And everybody knows that. Tyronn Lue, decent coach. I like Lue. But Lue had LeBron. Now that Lue doesn't have LeBron, let's see how good of a coach he is.
I like Lue. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't play. He didn't play in Game 6. He was suspended for Game 6.
He was suspended for Game 6.
Yeah, you're wrong, Michael. That he got suspended he got ejected in Game 5 and was suspended for Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Remember, that's the 3-1.
And then Bogut got hurt in Game 6.
Yeah, it was a 3-1 lead. And then he was ejected in the loss, which made it 3-2 and suspended in Game 6. So that is huge, Mike. Now, here's the thing. I never want to give LeBron too much credit. So this
Why
is
not? He earned it. He deserves it.
Hey,
He's the baby goat.
Hey, put some respect on his name. And what do you say? And I want my goddamn respect.
I want mine too. And drop the mic.
Right.
Hey, listen. Mookie. All right. So back to what I'm saying here.
I'm gonna have Mookie on the show.
It's really, Mike. Here's the thing. All right. I don't think anybody believes that the Warriors lose that series if Draymond is not suspended. I don't even believe you believe that.
The feeling.
If you believe that, Mr. Stafford, then you have forgotten what was actually happening then. Like everybody knows that. But let me clarify what I think Doc was saying about Lue. He wasn't saying Lue doesn't have his own mind. What I believe he was saying is Lue was in the locker room with me. Lue was on the bench with me. We talked about adjustments. We made adjustments. Those adjustments that you're talking about him making would be similar. He's not saying, Mike, in my opinion, Michael Stafford, Doc is not saying Lue will not make adjustments and I didn't make adjustments. What he's saying is, hey, PG no-show. If you felt like those adjustments weren't enough to light a fire under you to do your job, then you're probably going to have the same thing with Tyronn Lue. That's what I took from it. Yep. It wasn't a knock on Lue at all.
Right. At all. Yeah.
How do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. I agree. There's nothing's going to, like AC and I talked before the show, and I was explaining to him what I explained to my son about certain people. When you have certain things about your personality, they follow you. It doesn't matter where you go. And I think Doc is saying the same thing about Paul George. Doesn't matter who your coach is. You're going to be Paul George no matter who's on the sideline. Right. You're still going to do the same things you've been doing, waiting for the playoffs and going 3 for 30. That's it. It won't matter who the coach is or what adjustments they make or if they're running pin downs or high screen rolls. You're still going to not show up because that's what you have a history of doing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I want to make one more.
Yes, Mike.
I want to make one more comment. So he's saying I'm wrong. So then were they up 3-0 and then they lost game 4?
I don't care about the numbers.
Yeah, I don't care.
I know what I saw. I know what I saw, and I know what I felt. When Draymond got ejected, I said that's going to make the game very hard. Game 6. Matter of fact, they're going to open the door for a game 7. Once game 7, there's anything goes. So I don't know. Bogut was not the difference maker. No, Draymond Green is not the best power forward in the world. No, but that team, the team continuity, floor, just chemistry is going to be off. He was the mean, tough guy on that team. And once you take that away, you can push them little light-skinned dudes around, and then you can do what you want to do and get back in the game. That was when we saw Matthew Dellavedova lock up Steph Curry. And we were like, what is really going on? Without that dog on the court, Draymond is very basic, man, but he fit what they did. And in that moment in time, he was the engine that made that team go. I don't want to put him on no all-star Hall of Fame echelon. This is not Draymond Green, but Draymond Green fit that team that year that much. And then when Bogut went down, they had no bigs left. So that's why it was a big deal. But I don't want to go back off the topic. I think what Doc was saying about Ty Lue and that he would have made minor adjustments too. You guys got to play ball. Quit throwing the bus on or putting people under the bus. Take ownership and move on. Ty Lue will have a different say. Like all of us that have coached, when you are underneath someone else as a head coach, you go along with what the head coach says. And in their mind, you're like, when I'm head coach, I will do things a little bit differently. But when you're the assistant coach to a head coach, you roll with it, you give suggestions, and you make adjustments according to what the head coach wants. Doc was saying that when I worked with Ty Lue, the things he brought up to me were similar to what I was coming up with. At the end of the day, I can put out 2-3 zone or man-to-man or pick and roll or high screen or on the block, down screen, whatever I'm going to put in, y'all got to execute. And that's what he's trying to say to Paul George. Quit being a punk. Quit putting somebody else under the bus. Take ownership. You're a max guy. You should figure it out. And all I need to do is make sure the game is managed and y'all be in the game. Guys, just play well, man. Point blank.
Right.
So again, we all don't think that Doc was trying to have a disservice to Ty Lue at all.
He's just saying PG.
So I need to go back to Stafford though. So let me clarify. He's saying that it was that he was suspended in game 4 and then they wound up winning game 4, but we all knew that it could get ugly after that. He was suspended for game 5 and then the Cavs got to
game 5.
He gave him life.
I'll take his word for it, but here's my retort to here's the thing. I hate when y'all come on this podcast and make me apologize for Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has been coaching the enemy. He won a championship against the Lakers. And then he was over there in Clippertown coaching them, and they had all those disrespectful billboards around the city talking about class over fanfare or whatever the hell they said. Motherfucking not getting out of the second round versus winning another championship. That's what y'all brought. But let me speak to Doc Rivers, to what Doc Rivers brought. Listen, we're not doing this. We're not talking about the Cavs anymore. You already got enough shine on that. I'm not posting anything else you say about the Cavs. The Cavs got one, and they stole it, okay? But it was given to them. So, boom. Doc could be overrated, but here's the problem that I have. I want you to get on your soapbox, Michael C. Stafford Jr., and talk about every other coach that's overrated. Because when you say that he lost 3 series after being up 3-1 and he's the only one in history, guess what? How many coaches haven't won a playoff series at all? How many coaches have never been up 3-1 and they lose those series? Like, that's the other thing. The dude has won a lot of series and has won a championship. And we could talk about overrated all you want. And that overrated thing is speculative because even when he's getting another job, people have always said he's overrated. So is he really overrated if we don't really have the expectations that you guys are talking about? Sure, Rodney came on here and said the Clippers were going to win. But I think that was more so about Kawhi and Paul George, 2 of his favorite players, than it was about Doc Rivers, who is not his favorite coach. And then nobody really believed in Frank Vogel, and they thought that there would be mutiny, and Jason Kidd would take over the team, and who knew what would happen, and all of that, and Boogie Cousins left, and all of that. Listen, Doc Rivers can be overrated, but he's got a ring, and more coaches don't have rings than do. More coaches have never been up 3-1 and have lost playoff series than those that have been up 3-1 and have lost 3 times. So Doc could be overrated, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad coach. That doesn't mean that this was his fault. And I don't want to hear about Doc Rivers being overrated unless you're here to speak about all the other coaches that are overrated that never get brought up. All right, moving on.
Real quick. I'm gonna just say this really about Doc. I keep on hearing the same argument about Doc being up 3-1 in 3 different series. And break down why he lost these series. One series in Orlando, half the team got injured during the series. So all he had left was T-Mac. That's it. T-Mac had no help. This series, Paul George didn't show up, point blank. And Paul George is talking about the offensive end.
Hold on. I'm sorry, Rodney. Michael H. D'Antoni. How about we start there?
D'Antoni.
Go ahead, Rod.
So there are 2 ends to a basketball floor. He didn't stop anybody. So you can argue all about Doc and your offense, but Jamal Murray was busting your butt on the other end regularly, and so was the other guard who just got paid from busting your butt. What is it, Jelani Grant? Is that who's on Denver Nuggets?
Jeremy Grant.
So these guys have made a fortune on your on your failure, and then you got him coaching Blake Griffin. They shouldn't have been up 3-1. It was a testament to Doc that they went up 3-1 when you got 2 players out of 5 who have no offense, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Everybody was talking about Blake Griffin. Oh, he's this great player. And for years, from the start, I've been saying this dude has no skill. He can jump. He's athletic. Yes. Uber athletic.
And that's
but that's it. That's Tyrus Thomas. That's Wallace from Syracuse from back in the day. That's a lot of guys who can jump out the gym and get a dunk and block a shot. Doesn't mean you can do something to get a basket when you get the ball in your hands. There's a difference. So he went up 3-1 in these series despite those things. He couldn't hold a lead, but I don't think too many coaches could have. Doc's only issue and has always been that he's too superstar friendly. He gives his superstars days off. He gives them a lot of breaks. He allows them to get more freedom than the regular role players on his team. And if there's any knock, that's what created the jealousy on the Clippers, because there were players like Trez who thought they should have been given that treatment, that they were the star.
But check this out. And Paul George saying what he said, Doc gave him that freedom and he didn't step up. He didn't want it.
I'm gonna need Doc Rivers to be the best version of himself. I need him to go to Kobe camp this summer or this winter and bring these 76ers to prominence, man. Whatever you got left in the tank, Doc Rivers, I'm all for it. If you got it, go back to fundamental and get us going, man.
If he can do anything with that team, I will be highly impressed.
Now you got
a big 7-foot, 280-pound center who likes to just stand there and launch threes, and you got another 6'10" power forward,
can't shoot,
and point guard who refuses.
I'm gonna say he can't. He refuses. That's a good way to say it. He refuses. I can't say he can't.
He refuses. Not that he can't. Oh, I don't need to fix it. I'm good like this.
All right.
Hey.
So that's a hard bargain.
Well, then again, remember Livingston? I just saw a graphic. Livingston only made 15 threes in his whole career.
Wow.
So there's a way of, but you're not a superstar like Ben Simmons. So I do believe he's going to have to shoot that thing at least 3 times a game.
And it doesn't even have to be a 3. Just develop a consistent 20-footer. All the previous great players did, and not even great players. I could think back to when Sean Kemp couldn't shoot, and then Sean Kemp worked on his jumper and would kill you from 20 feet out if you tried to leave it.
Yeah.
Players don't want to fix their flaws. That's the problem with today's players. They don't want to fix them.
That's why so many players that can't shoot free throws.
They just would rather go stack up a team with some other superstars versus working on what they're lacking.
Hey,
Forget you, Mike Stafford.
Like Mookie,
Mike
it's been
Stafford.
proven.
Forget you, man. Somebody relying on Doc. We already lost. Forget you, man.
Yeah, like
Forget
what?
you, man. I got a bone to pick with you, man. When I see you in my person, man, I got something to say to you, man. Doc gonna bring it to the promised land. Come on, Doc.
And D'Antoni didn't. I don't agree with D'Antoni revolutionizing the game.
No,
he was a European coach. David Stern changed the league to Euroball with the rules that he allowed to be institutionalized to take this global.
Paul Wesley changed the game.
And D'Antoni's system just happens to fit Euroball because he's a Euro coach. That's it. That's it. D'Antoni did nothing.
He wants to know. He says, "What has Doc done? Won a championship. That's what Doc did."
There you go.
He got a chip, man. If he's milking the chip, he's milking the chip. Hey, get you a chip. You can talk trash.
What has D'Antoni done? Destroy teams.
And dip after he does it.
Destroy teams in 7 seconds or less.
What's our bet again, Mike? $2 bet on what? I forgot we bet on something. We always bet $2. I'm gonna buy me a nice Chico stick with that $2.
Right.
Hey, listen. You're Mike, you're entertaining. I will say that. Like I already told Rodney we weren't gonna be talking for this long.
Mike Staff.
We weren't gonna be talking for this long.
Well, we didn't talk about the contract. We didn't talk about the contract. We talked about something different. So
it's about the contract. You don't pay Paul George yet. He ain't earned it. But
they had to. They mortgaged the future on him. So
you ain't got to do nothing but stay black and die and pay taxes. That's not.
But you know what? And AC and I talked about this earlier. It's not a big issue like it used to be because you can move big contracts easier than you could before. Like superstars, they just showed a graphic on ESPN. Like eight superstars changed teams. That was superstars didn't change teams before because they wanted that max money. But now you can go get max money everywhere.
Check this out.
The Supermax.
Change sports. They didn't pay Dak Prescott. They didn't give him his max money.
And still ain't trying to pay him.
And he's better than Paul George. Why are you going to give Paul George?
He's better than Paul George and Paul George's sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does more for his team than Paul George does for his, man, and he couldn't get a max deal.
Yeah.
I sure hope AC Jr. is good enough to get one of these minimum contracts. They handing out contracts like it's Skittles.
But Dak Prescott is playing for the evil empire.
You see what they said about Dak? You see they talking down about Dak, so they don't have to pay him max.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's already a setup. And
he ain't playing. They're talking about his leadership skills.
And the media will add on to help their boy out. You know, the media controls who gets paid, who gets jobs, everything. The way they talk about you.
Yeah.
They can build you up or they can tear you down.
All the way down.
They wanted us to believe that Andy Dalton was better than Dak Prescott.
Right.
Andy Dalton's going to come in and compete for the job. I'm like, Andy Dalton is garbage.
Well, based on the way Stafford's been talking, he probably believes that too.
What? Andy Dalton's better than Paul George to Dak reference.
Man, Andy Dalton looking like Uncle Rico.
Dak does more for his team. Dak does way more
for his team than
Paul George does for his team, and he didn't get a max deal, but Paul George did.
Making Russell Wilson money.
You talking about for the franchise tag?
Yeah, Russell Wilson ain't got paid yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh well, move on.
Yeah,
So Paul George. By the way, welcome, David Smoot. Yeah, you got in kind of late, unless you've been here and just not been talking. So welcome. Episode 40 of the Collective Podcast. We are live. We are live. We are live. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We've been talking about PG No Show and we kind of touched on his new contract.
Pandemic.
Not overall. We talked a little bit about it, but moving on from Paul George, you guys, anything else about the NBA before we go to the draft? Because Rodney's been itching to talk about LaMelo Ball and LeVar Ball and basketball and all of that. So
I think James Harden's pretty intriguing. Like, he keeps saying where he want to go, and they keep saying he's going to show up to camp. Who has leverage here?
Does his teammates want to play with him after he's basically saying, I don't want to be here?
I don't think so. You can't.
And now, I mean, look what you're doing. Look in the long run of things, depending on if they can trade him and get something fair in return. Look what you're doing to young Silas, brand new rookie coach. We only got about 3 black coaches in the whole league, and now he finally gets a job, and he getting screwed in the process. Like, you just can't win for losing.
That's how it always is, man.
You can't win, and I've been saying it for the longest. When black men get a job, it's always, hey, we need you to turn this team around, or we need you to develop these rookies. That's exactly what he's going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get a job like Steve Nash where he's getting the keys handed to a championship contender type team. But they get those jobs and we don't. Routinely.
Herman Boone, we need you to be undefeated this year. Remember the Titans. I can't lose no games. They're setting him up for failure, man. And then James Harden knows it. And, you know, he's like, y'all said I can have a big 3 with Boogie Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a wrap. He can come to camp. Talking about he can come to camp with 6 negative coronavirus tests, and he can come to camp. After you say, all right, I'll play for the Heat, I'll play for the Sixers, I'll play for the Bucks, I also will. And he's just laming them off, man. Any team that has some assets they can trade, he's named them off. Sadly enough, I don't think those teams want to give those assets up.
No.
So might be stuck.
Yeah, I think he may be, because I don't see Milwaukee giving up Middleton to get him. Middleton and some more players. It would be more than Middleton.
Yeah.
So we talked about this on the last podcast, or maybe it was the one before that, about the fact that Boogie hasn't been healthy and how I personally feel bad for him, because he keeps getting in good positions conceivably in positions that seem to be good, but then he gets injured. So yeah, I think we agree that a healthy Boogie would be a problem. And I guess those of us that don't dislike him hope that he will be healthy and therefore be a problem. But I just don't know that he can stay healthy. But here's to hoping.
When you start getting injuries like that, they don't start all of a sudden getting better.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
Let's be real. And you 10 years into the league,
them
you got wear and tear. Yeah, nah.
I'll tell you what, after 25, when I got my first injury, I was getting hurt in the bathroom brushing my teeth after that. Everything I did, man, it was just like downhill. My first injury, every year I would expect something to go wrong, and your body started letting you down. You have to really adjust who you are as an athlete, as far as your high impact, your burst, your first step, how you jump, how you play, banging on the inside. You're going to be like, nah, I'm going to sit out here and shoot these threes in the corner where it's safe. it's when your body start giving out on you, man, you see plays that you would like to go do. I played pickup last week, and there were some plays I could have cut and got an easy bucket. My mind said, you know what would be a good play if you cut right now. And my body was like, what do you think you're doing?
Right.
You're not going anywhere. You stay right here before I make your whole back tighten up. And then you're done for the day.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, speaking of San Diego, speaking of Long Beach Poly, and speaking of longevity, you just made me think of something, Cobbs. I had the opportunity, and I spoke on the podcast about this before, but not when you were on. I had the opportunity to sit with Tony Gwynn, rest in peace, back when they were in the World Series against the Cubs, not the Cubs. Who did they play? They lost to the Cubs. They beat the Cubs. Who did they play in the World Series? Doesn't matter. But they were in the World Series. I had a chance to hang with Tony Gwynn in the stadium, and I had a chance to hang with Dave Stewart afterward. But one of the things that Tony Gwynn told me was, hey, when I was choosing between the NBA and Major League Baseball, I felt like my body would hold up more in Major League Baseball than it would in the NBA. And I wasn't sure that it would work out, but clearly it did. And he was, obviously he was alive then, and he was going to be in the Hall of Fame as soon as he was eligible, but because he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. But thinking about that, like he knew even back then, and this is, maybe he consulted Rod, who'd already been through something like that. I don't know. But Tony Gwynn made that decision way back then. And by the way, so Tony Gwynn went to their school, Long Beach Poly, as did Tony Gwynn's brother. I don't remember his name.
Chris.
Chris?
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember his name.
He's a Dodger.
Shout out to Art Thompson. Is Art on here? Because Art be trying to hang out.
Art on here?
Let's get Art on here. But Tony Gwynn has the distinction of being the one player drafted by two different pro teams in the same city on the same day.
No, they only had the draft on the same day.
They did then. Like it was extra rounds draft. They did back then.
Wow.
Yeah, and so who was he drafted by?
The San Diego Clippers.
Yes, that was too easy for you. You're the first one that's ever gotten it that quickly. Shout out to you.
You gotta come on a little harder than that. No.
Well, okay. Who was he drafted? Who drafted him in baseball? The Montreal X? Just kidding. Yeah.
Oh,
all right. Good job.
Well, then again, I guess you're right. Same day, because Charlie Ward didn't get drafted the same day in football and basketball.
Yeah.
But Charlie Ward, I believe, got drafted in football, even though he chose basketball.
Yeah, but also we're talking about the teams being in the same city.
Yeah, that's unheard of. That's unheard of.
Yeah, who drafted Charlie? I want to say Charlie Ward didn't get drafted. I want to say he was disrespected like that.
Was he?
No, Charlie Ward got drafted by the Chiefs, right?
So he was drafted.
He was going to follow Joe Montana.
But he decided to play, and we all thought he was done.
Hey, listen, let me cut to this real quick. So yeah, Mike, I saw his body toward the end, but I wasn't old enough to see his body in the beginning. Rodney,
you never seen Tony Gwynn play.
What did his body look like when he got drafted?
He was a beast, man. Tony Gwynn was tell him, Mike, he was Kyle Lowry. He was a little chunky, but he was tough as nails.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, he always had
Khalid Alameen. Was it Khalid Alameen, Kyle Lowry,
John Bagley.
Was a little chunky North Carolina point guard. Was it dang, what's his name? Raymond was it Felton?
Felton, yeah.
Raymond Felton. He had a little butterball, but they're tough. They're tough little guards, man. They tough, and you can't push them around. So I'll give him that much. He was a baller.
That's funny.
You play in college, you're a baller. Period.
Hey, I just want to say, because when people call us out, we need to respond. Michael C. Stafford Jr. said, "I will kill y'all if y'all let me on that show." And so I sent him a link, and he still hasn't shown up, and it's fine. But I just want to point that out.
He'll show up. Well, why you gotta kill somebody? Because we disagree on something? It's all good, man. You're not gonna ruin my day.
And this podcast is all love. It's all love.
When Jimmy Mack get on here, we're gonna talk mad junk because we never lost to SC. I don't care what no SC fan has to say about we getting beat 50-0 that 1 year. Bruh, we ain't never lose. Me, Anthony Carter, anybody during our time at UCLA, we don't know what that means. We lost to SC? Who said that? That's not true. We never lost to SC. Not us. Mm-hmm. Never. I'm a LeVar Ball when they come up. Never lost. Never lost.
It's in Messenger. I sent it to you in Messenger on Facebook, since that's the app you're in right now.
I'm watching old YouTube videos. We down 25 points. We're gonna win this one too. I'm watching old YouTube videos, 1992. We down 24-14. We're gonna win that one. Stokes about to come through right now. There you go, Stokes. Touchdown. 1993. We down by a few. How much time left? Oh, plenty of time. We coming back on this. I've been watching all week long, man. It's making me so happy. Hey, matter of fact, we won last year. We won last year. We were 2-7 last year going into the SC game, and we smashed. Can't explain it, bro. Can't explain it. Chip Kelly coached one game last year. The SC. He put together a game plan last year. We ran the ball down their throat. I can't explain it. I had somebody say, "You guys think you guys have a chance this year?" I say, "We always have a chance." Now the whole season, I don't know, but the SC game, hey, we got a shot.
Well, UCLA has been playing better the last few weeks. But because
you're saying because we knew that Jordan Brand and Nike were coming?
I don't know. If that's what spurred it, then thank God, because those first couple of games, I was like, man, what is going on here? I didn't understand it.
Well, it's Chip Kelly's under the microscope, man. He's on the hot seat because all this genius that we keep hearing about, we have yet to see it. I saw more genius with Norm Chow as a coordinator.
Right.
So I'm still waiting to see it. I know he says I need to get the kind of guys I need, but you can't go and recruit them guys from Texas and Miami because academically they're not going to make it. So we got to get these LA boys to come home instead of going out to Clemson and Alabama and Georgia, get them to stay home. And I think he has to be less rigid. And like you said, some of these coaches aren't star friendly. Somehow or another, you're going to have to get some of these guys to come. Some people saying he has to cheat in order to get some of these guys by paying them. I think there's a way of doing things. I think Stanford runs a clean program for the most part, and they get guys. You just have to really, really find them and then really, really have a program that they can buy into. So I think the Jumpman brand will help get some kids on GP, but you still need some stars. We ain't had a star at quarterback in how many years? We ain't had a star at wide receiver in how many years? We ain't had a star running back in how many years? So we were trying to make stars. We used to get guys come in. Like I'm watching the old 95 game. There's some dudes on the field, man, that's going to play on Sunday. No doubt about it. But now you're just like, well, he might play on Sunday. He might be pretty good. We got a gadget quarterback that ain't never played quarterback before right now. We counting on him to win the game. This is just his third year playing the position ever. So, we got some work to do.
So come on, y'all. Let's go to UCLA, man. We get some Jordan stuff. Nothing else.
That's how it's gonna work. Jordan.
Hey, kiss it. You can get the 11s now and don't have to wait in line.
Some Air Force Ones, blue and gold.
Because I finally looked at a UCLA. Well, I was watching the game, and I'm like, I don't know anyone on this team.
None.
Football or basketball. Completely clueless. That's the first time in my life I didn't know UCLA players. Like, where did these dudes come from? Where did he find them? I don't know. And players like Anthony Barr or Gaston Green, they used to be regular players at UCLA. Like, that's what you expected. Mm-hmm. They don't have to go to Georgia and places to get players. California has so much homegrown talent.
Well, this pandemic didn't help. When they saw we were going to have restrictions and may not play, just like our high school kids, they're going to start dipping to Arizona and different places where they can play.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 said we got to do something or we're going to lose all our players.
Hey, quick question for you. Hey, Ant, were you talking about? Did you mention the '93 game?
93 game at the Coliseum. Yeah.
Yeah, you just mentioned that a moment ago, right?
Yep.
I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys a column that your boy wrote for the Daily Bruin.
You did?
Yeah.
Or Odd Thompson?
No, I did.
Let's see if he was right. Where Mike Stafford at? He liked to be the first guy to say anything. I was the first guy to say this.
So in this column, let me add it.
I gotta blow it up. I can barely see it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I just have to add it to the screen. Then you guys will be able to see it.
Well, I might still have to blow it up. I press full screen. I can't see. Is it me? I got my good specs on.
No, it's me too.
That's not clear, man.
You can't see it.
There you go. There you go.
I'll make it bigger. Does that help?
That's the bigger the better.
Where's your name at? I don't believe you wrote this.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's at the bottom. It's a column, so it's at the bottom.
Okay. Neck at neck. Thriller.
I didn't like the title, but I wasn't
Who came up
angry
with the title?
yet.
They just titled it for you? That's blasphemy.
Oh, that's how it goes. But this was before the 98 game, and I was reminiscing about the 93 game at the Coliseum.
So you wrote this in 98 about the 93.
Yeah.
All right. The defeat column. It's a complete coffin. The big game. Rodney Pete, Troy Aikman. So there was November 20th, 1993, sitting in the press box at the LA Coliseum for the 63rd annual 79 degrees. 15 Bruins. We were number 15? Wow. Came into the game with number 19, SC. Controlled their own destiny. That was the game. Okay, so that was the game where we kept them from going to the Rose Bowl, and we put roses in our mouths after the game.
Yes, that was that. Well, it says that in this column.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was this, yeah.
Yeah, it was dirty. Like we have no problem spoiling SC's plans. I believe the one year we beat Keyshawn and them, they were number 2 in the country, going for the national championship against Northwestern in the Rose Bowl. But we beat them, so then they were just playing for love at that point.
And this was the same day that Boston College had that big upset.
Had no problem. Like, you guys are messing it up for the Pac-10. You're messing it up for the Pac-10, man. We don't care about no Pac-10. I don't want to see Keyshawn Johnson at Roscoe Chiffin and Waffles talking junk. So we gonna whoop that head.
Now, who was primarily matched up on him when you guys played?
We had a whole package for Keyshawn. It was a star package, so nobody was matched up. We were all taking turns jamming them at the line with help over top. We wanted them to run the ball or throw it to Larry Parker. I told Larry in the text, I said, man, the whole game plan was to get the ball to you. Even though you were the harder, physically gifted receiver, we knew they were going to force feed Key. But the old coordinator did not take what the defense gave him, and they kept throwing it to Key. I think he caught 12 balls for like 112 yards. Like, he had a gang of catches, no touchdowns, and nothing after catch. And that was our game plan, and it worked. And they ran the ball a little bit with DeLon Washington, but our game plan was to beat Keyshawn up and let somebody else beat us. And they force-fed him. So to this day, Larry Parker tells me, he said, man, my whole life has been that way. They told me they was going to give me the rock. I scored 1 touchdown at USC his 3 years there or 4 years there. And I said, I didn't know that, man. So that's a serious trivia question, that you only scored once and you were a 4th round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was like, well, at least you had a chance to play in the league and you played pretty well. Right. But that one game, it was Sean Williams was the first option to be line up on Keyshawn just to jam him, because Sean Williams was not a one-on-one player. He was a safety. And he was, he was 6'2.5", maybe 6'3", 200 pounds, about Keyshawn's size. I was behind him. I'm 6'1", 200. Sean gets hurt first series, so I'm in. And then the rest of the game, I switch Ralph with Taylor Lawrence and Paul Guidry, and we're just beating Keyshawn up at the line and making him run around different zones. And he was catching little 5-yard passes, but we would hit him as soon as he caught it. So game plan work, execution, give me the dub. And Jimmy Mack, if he comes on here, he played a heck of a game. He actually threw a touchdown and caught a touchdown. So he don't get enough props for how much he had an effect on that game. So we had good game plans, man, back in the day.
So I want to ask this question to players who've played at that level against top-notch competition. Who would you say, just hopefully Jimmy Mack comes on so I can ask him certain questions, because I know he was on offense, and you were on offense and defense, right?
The first 2.5 years offense. Yeah.
Okay. So who would you say, when you hit them, you could feel their power the most? Like you may have lowered your shoulder or something. You like, ooh, that I felt that. Like, who was that dude where you felt like this dude is hard to bring down?
Man, I hit Corey Dillon one time. We were playing Washington at Washington. I believe it was like 20-something degrees. And I was playing Rover, and I was only like, at this point, I had just moved to defense. So I barely knew how to tackle. And I was in there, and they played 2 and 3 tight ends, which made me have to come closer to the line of scrimmage in the eight-man box. We had a 5 DB set, which was a blessing in disguise. I got to play. But against Washington and Nebraska, they have 2 and 3 tight ends, which makes me a linebacker. And I had to tackle Corey Dillon. And I knew immediately he's going to play on Sunday. I was like, this dude right here, we didn't know a whole lot about him, but we put him in the league. And the cold, his weight, his power, it was just like he had like slave power. Like it was just like ew. I just feel like tackling Clubber Lang or something like that. It was just like, and it was earlier in the game, like, and it was like, man, I'm gonna tackle this guy all day. He had on elbow pads and he was looking nasty. You know how some dudes that don't look pretty, they just look rough, and then you hit them, and then the rough match the field matches how it looked. And you're like, this is gonna be a long game. I think he had like 250 yards. I mean, he really I think that was one of them games we didn't watch the film. It was that bad.
He was a monster.
He was a monster. He went on to have a good NFL career. He was a monster. But yeah, and then playing in Nebraska on that dome, I don't know if it was one player, but it was all them linemen, all them fullbacks coming downhill on that wishbone before Tommy Frazier would come and pitch the ball to Lawrence Phillips. Was it Lawrence Phillips? I forgot who that tailback was. It might have been before Lawrence Phillips, but it's been some time, man. J-Mo, no. Slave power.
Who would you say, and anybody that has played sports, we all got that one person where you're like, man, I don't care what I try about this person, I cannot get a handle on him. Who was that?
And just so we're clear, for Rodney, it was somebody in the Coliseum back in the Gladiator days. There was just one person that he couldn't beat. And I don't mean the LA Coliseum. I'm talking Rome.
Now, I remember AC getting beat by Steve Largent back in the day.
Steve Largent was a monster.
You know,
Steve Largent was a handful.
You know, Chris Collinsworth, he had this thing where he couldn't get these players, but who was that one player? And a lot of times it's not a superstar. That's why I asked this question. Who was that one player where you like, man, this dude is killing me. I need help.
I mean, that's like almost every week the star player from the other team was just too much, and that's why they were star players. I mean, you go from who do we have? I mean, you had Niall Benjamin at Cal. You had, R.J. Soward at SC. Mm-hmm. You had, who was this? Terry Battle at Arizona State. The year after us, Jimmy's team played Adrian James. Like all these guys had days that put them over the top as far as them being high draft picks. Like we played against Charles Woodson at Michigan, and we were like, man, he ain't that good. He the same size. He the same size as me. We go into the game like, yeah, let's show Charles Woodson what it's about. He was on our board, like our clipboard. Like this is the guy we want to cut. This is what we want to shut down. This dude played corner, safety, punt return, receiver. He did everything except play quarterback, and was just embarrassing us, man. So he was just as good. I mean, I was like, Charles Woodson is the truth, man. If nobody believed it, he's the truth at every position. He was out there clowning. And we had a pretty good team. And we were just like, dang, I'm standing next to Charles Woodson. And he was like, why are we in awe of this dude? And that's pretty much what it was. And then Tennessee had some real dudes too. I believe it was Nash and I forgot their names, but I remember getting blocked so bad by a tight end. He put me on the bench. Like I was playing in the box, and I had to fit up on the outside of the line as my outside contained. And the tight end got his hands on me inside my shoulder pads. He must have picked me up and drove me all the way out of bounds and put me on the bench. And I was like, I felt like a little kid right there. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a long one. And we got pretty much handled right there by Peyton Manning and the Tennessee Volunteers that year. So it's been a lot of guys, man. And some guys are the truth and some guys are phony. But a lot of the guys that you don't even get to hear about are really, really the truth.
Yeah. My boy, Dockery Boy. Shout out to Doc. My little brother really grew up down the street from me. He went to Fresno State. He said he's like, Rod, he's like, man, because I said, well, how you like Fresno? So he's telling me little things about the team, about who they play, and they played UCLA.
Yep.
So he says, I'm lined up over the receiver. I know it's a run play. He's like, I get by him. I see the running back coming. I got him in my sights. I'm ready to dig into him. And he says, out the corner of my eye, at the last minute, Jonathan Ogden is pulling hard.
It's like an eclipse.
He's like that dude gained so much ground on me so fast that I never saw it coming.
He's a
And
monster.
he said that dude smashed me and was just blocking all the way down the field, smashing everybody.
He was the literal water boy for real. Like that one play on Water Boy where he was leading the play,
Right.
blocking everybody. That was Big O, man. And Big O played point guard in basketball.
That's crazy.
He wanted to be the point guard. He was before KD and them. He was out there shooting threes. We like go to the paint. He was like, nah.
There's always that one big guy who thinks he's a guard.
Oh man, he was a guard.
Yeah. 6'8", 324. That's ridiculous.
And an athlete, like, imagine an offensive lineman playing with, in comparison to his peers, it's like Shaq when he was young. There's just too much girth and size with that much athleticism. And he was, I think, a 4-year starter. First day on campus, he was starting. Left tackle, most important lineman on the field. And first ballot Hall of Famer 10 years later. So that dude is definitely the truth.
I mean, the names you called off, Corey Dillon, is he already in the Hall of Fame? If he's not, he will be.
I don't know if he is. I don't think Corey Dillon's going to get in. I think
he's going to. Corey Dillon wrecked the league for years.
I think Curtis Martin got that spot as far as the guy who wrecked the league for many years and kind of did it in a workman fashion.
Yeah, but we know Curtis Martin is getting in, but
he's
Corey
in.
Dillon.
Curtis Martin's already in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got that spot.
Yeah.
So if he does get in, it'll be many, many years down the line. I don't even think he's on the ballot anymore.
He should have been in at some point.
So you have to see, well, who gets in before him? Edgerrin James. So those type of guys.
Hey, help me with this. When was this?
We beat Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis. Yeah, we beat Ray Lewis and Miami at the Rose Bowl, and we beat Peyton Manning at the Rose Bowl.
Well, what year was the Miami game?
I want to say 90. I played in the Ray Lewis game, so it must have been 94 or 90. I played receiver one. I think we played Miami twice, I want to say. No, I think we played them in 95. I played limited minutes, and that was after that game, my mom came up to UCLA and was crying about my playing time.
Oh, wow.
Because I got in the fourth quarter against Miami. But Ray Lewis and the Miami Hurricanes that year weren't great.
Wow.
But that was Ray Lewis. And then I believe one of my teammates popped Ray Lewis one good time and said, Ray Lewis ain't nothing. I just gave him that work. And I was like, Ray Lewis is still going to be the Hall of Famer. You just going to be here with us. I popped Ray Lewis. I'm like, that's cool. It's possible.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, Javon, I forgot about that one. I won't speak on it. I don't like to speak on the Miami versus UCLA since I grew up a Hurricane fan, and that still ain't out of me. So I will not talk about 1998.
Without the Hurricane that year, we beat Miami if we played them when we were supposed to play them. When they postponed that game to the end of the season, that was our death wish. It was
Did Bob Toledo make adjustments?
Bad adjustments.
Hey, wait. Stafford, did Bob Toledo make adjustments?
Well, you can make adjustments in football. You have to make adjustments in football. I don't care what level you at.
I'm just clowning about the whole adjustments thing.
Oh, man. You might get away with that in basketball, but not football. If you don't make adjustments in football, it's gonna get ugly quick.
Hey, some coaches, I wonder if they actually do.
The Eagles didn't.
Because
Right,
I know
we still doing seven step drops.
when I watch a Raider game and I'm like, all right, they scoring in the first half, they killing them. In the second half,
Same score, ain't scored since.
nothing. I'm like, man, Gruden is supposed to be an icon. What happened?
A mastermind. Not the case.
No,
Not the case.
I don't buy into that. It looks good. It always looks good on paper.
Yep.
Hey, I'm gonna post this just because he had a great one, but he was destined, Javon. I'm not gonna say the game hurt him because it didn't hurt him, but he was destined.
But we put him up there though. That game was nationally televised.
Really put him on the map because Michael Irvin had been talking him up for years, and he hadn't started. He hadn't reached that level yet.
We made that dude a star because we were number 2. We were number 2 in the country, and I believe Vegas had us winning by 25 points or something crazy like that because our offense was unstoppable.
So here's the thing that I'm not going. Oh, my bad. So here's what I'm not going to post. My column from before that game, because I said something different, and I was actually right about what was going to happen. Because you have to be objective, right? And you have to say, if you know what's going to happen, you know what's going to happen. And I won't look for that column because I don't want to belabor the point about that because I know it's a bad memory for a lot of people. So we'll move on. I don't know if Jimmy Mack is coming, but we got to talk about this. So let's go on to
hour late.
The contract.
He ain't coming.
Contract. So the Jordan Brand Nike contract.
Oh
yeah.
6 years.
Oh no, it cut off the letter. All right, hold on. Go ahead and talk about it. Somebody introduce it.
6 years.
I ran out of
Jumpman for football and basketball. Nike for everybody else. Good deal. Then when we talk about
and when we say basketball, it's men's and women's.
Right.
Because when we talk about the programs, the women actually have a shot at a championship, and they're the only one out of those 3 that have one right now.
I think it's going to come back. UCLA's got a verbal from from Poly's number 1, I want to say small forward in California. And I believe Rodney James has UCLA in his radar if he doesn't go to Howard. HU, so I think the Jumpman will bring in 2 or 3 recruits that probably were not really going to UCLA because UCLA is becoming a one and done destination if we want to become a competitor with Kentucky and Duke and these places that are just grabbing kids because they know it's a 6-month holding spot for the NBA. But I think the Jumpman brand will give us a little bit more visibility.
Right.
Hey, Anthony, did you know that the athletic director has a long name, like the Lehner family director of athletics?
Yeah.
And then basketball is not just called basketball anymore. It's like the something family women's basketball and the something family men's basketball.
All these big donors want their name.
Yeah.
Any credit.
I didn't even know that. But shout out to Martin Jarman, the AD, that director of athletics, the Lehner family director of athletics, for getting that deal done. And he said shout out to Chancellor Block for making it happen. But I don't know that this happens without Martin Jarman in control. And darn you, Under Armour, you had the right to pull out of that contract, but boy, do you suck for doing so. So you mentioned something. You mentioned one and done destination. So let's go back to the NBA because I'm now thinking about Lonzo Ball. So let's go back to the NBA because that was one thing that Rodney wanted to talk about, the draft and some other things. So go ahead, Rod. I'll let you kick it off.
All right. Basically, for the most part, the top players at the top, and the draft was not strong. Like you may get 3 or 4 really good players out of this draft, maybe. That I can see, and yeah, there are going to probably be some sleepers that go in the second round that no one knew about that kind of rise up, but they were already mentioning Wiseman maybe getting traded for James Harden. Golden State was talking about putting the package together to get Harden, considering Klay Thompson is injured. I would hate to see that because I think they would have to put Klay Thompson's contract in it for it to work. And I would not want to see Klay Thompson get traded like that. But then you have what everybody's waiting to see. LaMelo in Charlotte, and you got his daddy now dealing with Michael Jordan. What are the thoughts on how that's going to work? We saw how it worked with Magic, and Magic is a lot more easygoing and friendly than Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan is like the Grinch and has no patience. Honestly, just personality-wise, Michael Jordan does not like, too much of anything. So how do you guys see that working out?
Michael Jordan going to tell his daddy he can't come to the games.
First week.
First week. Hey, you on this team, your daddy can't come.
So my thought is that I can't even think of his name. What's the dad's name? LeVar. I think LeVar's over it. I think LeVar is over interfering, and he just like all the fanfare. Clearly, they're not all going to play for UCLA. They're not all going to play for the Lakers. Now it's just play basketball. I believe. I don't believe that there will be any antics from him at all, and he'll be a cool citizen, especially since Lonzo kind of gave him the Heisman and said, "Hey, I need to control my stuff." So I think that it'll be the same with the youngest. Even though he may be involved, I don't think he's going to be involved publicly, like trying to get attention and notoriety. Like, this. He got 2 out of 3 in the NBA. What more do you want?
Well, no, all 3 now. Jello signed with the Pistons.
Jello ain't gonna make that team.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Jello ain't gonna make that team.
I don't think so either. But as of right now, he's a member of the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
So he has all 3 players in the NBA.
He'll have a nice Christmas card with all of them in their junior jerseys on and
exactly
NBA players, but he's gonna be in the G League and overseas pretty soon because his game just does not fit the NBA athletic, threes. Like if he's a 3, I don't think he would even though if you don't have to play great defense anymore, but it is something that is needed for a guy who's not going to be the guy. You can't be a liability. You got to at least have, some kind of athletic ability. I think this guy needs to grow. Yeah, I think he's done growing, and he's the chunky brother. He needs to play football.
Right.
But going back to the initial question about how is Melo going to do in Charlotte, I think he's going to get balled up, man. I think it's going to be fun to watch for a while, but I think really quickly he's going to have the same problems that Lonzo had. They're going to be gunning for him, and he's going to be under the pressure of the bright lights of the NBA and grown men. This ain't Europe. This is going to be different. And I think after a while he'll figure it out. But I don't think he's going to, be a player that brings a championship to Charlotte. Not even close. I think he's going to be a good player, exciting player, but I don't think it's going to equate to wins. Charlotte's still going to be terrible. And it's going to be, like you said, Michael Jordan ain't going to be all smiles and giggles. I believe Michael Jordan was the one who smacked the kid upside the head for being on the sideline dancing when he was the owner and came on like, "What y'all laughing about? We losing." And, it's a different time. And I know that a lot of pressure might be on, but I don't think they should have high expectations at all. If nothing else, they're going to sell tickets, but I don't think anybody's going to be, counting the Charlotte. Is it the Hornets now or are they the Bobcats again? Are they going back and forth? What's the name of that team? The Hornets?
I think that's are they the Hornets again?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I just watched Shut Up and Dribble, and I figured out it was what happened to the Bobcats? Like, what happened to the Bobcats? What happened to the Vancouver Grizzlies? All these teams that just went away. And I was like, Russell Westbrook's on the Bullets? Like, there's no bullets. I was like, oh, the Wizards. Okay, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I want to see these guys play, but I don't expect a whole lot. I believe Weissman will be good.
Excuse me, let me cut in real quick. That is an Xbox Series S. So if anybody wants to buy one, I'm only marking it up $250. So $550. Xbox Series S, as in Sam.
Man, let me
delivered.
Bam. PS5, right. Man. The boy wants a PS5.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you know if I get. Well, no, because I can't mark it up for you. So I'll just look out and let you know if I find one. I'm not marking it up for family.
Somebody scammed me last week trying to get me to get a PS5 for $300. I said that thing is hotter than fish grease, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Well,
I saw them on Amazon.
If
it's hot, they're gonna trace it to you because it's an online game. You're gonna be like, you got a stolen piece of property and got the 5-0 at your door or a PS5.
Listen, I bought it on OfferUp.
Yeah, I heard all of the games that they have for it. It's not compatible with the 4.
Huh? Exactly. You tell them, Trey. I don't know where you got that info, but you tell them. Yeah.
I didn't know where I heard it from, but I knew it was somebody that told me that.
I think if you get the digital one, you can download digital, but the one that has the discs, you can play all games from any level. But the digital one, you have to have the updated one.
I'm fighting y'all on that. Nope. PS5, you got to start all over.
No.
With everything.
Well.
Okay, Rod, I'm fighting you though. You have it?
No, but I was trying to get it.
I know. I'm fighting you on it.
Yeah, but no, there are games from the 4 that go up to the 5 on the higher end one. Cobbs is right. I checked.
On the higher end, what?
That's why it's more.
I still have my PS3, so I wasn't gonna get anything without doing my research.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can play PS4 games on it.
I went to Target this morning. Look who I bumped into.
Oh man, he's that much bigger than you?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Chuck Liddell's not that big.
Chuck Liddell, that's him, bro.
How big is he?
That's not much taller. That's like what?
That's a whole foot.
Oh.
Is he a monster? Is he a 7 foot?
Yeah.
Are you Maurice Jones-Drew? Who are you?
Right. He's his hands though, bro, are strong as strong.
Hey man, them dudes be picking up bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Diamond Dallas Page one time. I was like, "You're DDP." He's like, "Yeah." So, what are you doing over here? Shooting a movie that's never going to be seen by anybody.
Yeah. Getting back to LaMelo, I think he'll be able to get pretty good numbers as a rookie because they just have no one else. But Charlotte is not a place that you go to win games. They make very bad personnel decisions.
Like the Clippers.
It's not a decision. It's not a destination that people want to be in. Although I love Charlotte, but I guess basketball-wise, not a place that people want to be.
So Rodney, when you guys named Charlotte, what were the other like city names that you were considering?
Well, we were probably going to name one of them after you, since you were a pioneer for the colonies.
All right.
I don't think LeVar is backing off. I think they're backing him off. Like, I think the Suns are like, man, I don't care what Pop's talking about at this point. I'm doing my own thing. I don't think he voluntarily wanted to back off. He just doesn't have that kind of control anymore. And I think they can actually see that it's probably in their best interest to do things a different way. But I do think that if you shine a light on him and give him that 2-minute TV time, he's going to say something crazy. And And it just all depends on the networks. Are we going to give this guy some shine like we did in LA? Or are we going to keep him off the camera and treat him like the village idiot and not give him any kind of chance to say anything different? Because he got a lot of leeway in LA, and he pretty much put a target on Lonzo. I mean, like, dude, people were gunning for that dude every game and waiting for every mistake. I don't think LaMelo will have that same target. I think he can kind of fly as long as his dad is not in the media saying that he could, he's better than Steph Curry and all this other kind of crazy stuff that he was doing with Lonzo. I think LaMelo will be okay. I don't see him staying in Charlotte after his rookie deal is up. He'll be gone. But I don't know. I'm like, man, Charlotte taking that chance with Jordan as the owner and this dude as the daddy. I'm waiting to see that. I may even get the NBA package just to see the shenanigans that happen during games.
He probably would have won second if his daddy didn't say that about Curry. He might have been the second pick.
Well, I thought he was a second kid. Oh, no. Wiseman was second.
Yeah.
And what's his name was first.
He was third, yeah. And I think the Warriors were like, nah, we don't want that over here. His dad would be trying to.
They had a need for a big guy.
Right.
So they didn't have any centers, so they needed to take Wiseman. But, we'll see. We will see. What else we got?
Yeah. Did the Raiders win? I'm not clowning.
The Raiders did win.
On the last play of the game, the Hail Mary.
Yep.
All right, Rod, tell me your power rankings. Obviously, Raiders first.
Yes. Raiders first.
Trying to destroy us again.
Let me see.
Oh, we're third. We're fourth.
We're going to beat the Saints. We're going to beat the Saints with Jalen Hurts. I said it first. I said it. Jalen Hurts going to have a field day. We're going to hit Taysom Hill upside the head.
Hold on, Cobbs. I'm bracing myself. Lon G is in here.
Oh, my God. The waves. Get your waves together. I got my wave cap on for Lon G. He's my wave coach. If my waves ain't popping, he get on me. I got my wave cap on, sir.
Yeah, it'll go Raiders, Niners, Eagles.
All right.
When you start taking your star quarterback out, it's pretty much a wrap at that point.
You can say starting quarterback, because right now he ain't a star.
Yeah.
You gotta earn that. We ain't giving out on potential. Like, we don't give out contracts on potential. Even though the Eagles did. We had to. We were stuck in the same corner as the Clippers with Paul George, with Carson Wentz.
That was a Paul George deal we gave him.
We had to just give it to him. Otherwise, we got to give it to Nick Foles. And we sure ain't ready to give Nick Foles a house. We just use Nick Foles in the playoffs. Matter of fact, we should have gave Nick Foles a playoff contract. You come back in the playoffs once you play during the regular season, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I got to shout out my new best friend, Greg Williams, who called that cover zero with two rookies at corner.
We're bringing the house. We're not backing down for nobody. Everybody, they were like, Coach, what? He was like, Coach, my guy runs a 4.28. I don't care. Get up there and jam him. Matter of fact, he put off coverage. Was it off coverage? It was off coverage.
When they heard the defensive call, the corners were still scratching their head at the snap.
I would have called timeout. Hold on. The dude I'm guarding runs a 4.2. I ran a 4.8. Like, I ran a 4.6. This dude's about to
run. If you see the play, he takes about 5 steps with him. And once he gives a double move, the DB immediately starts running gimpy. Like, man, I ain't even gonna try to.
That sounds like thing that Marcus Peters was doing it on the Rams.
And it's crazy because all 3 receivers are wide open. Like, Derek Carr could have taken his pick. Who do I want to really throw this to?
And I
He
mean,
just picked rugs, but all of them were
wide open.
All right, so best team in the NFL right now: Chiefs, Steelers, Seahawks.
Shoot, I'd say the Chiefs until somebody beats them in the championship, and the Saints and the Packers.
So you got 3 teams over the Steelers just because the
Steelers are the worst.
They lost and they looked bad the week before
worst
when they won.
The worst 11-1 team on paper ever. The teams that they beat were not impressive, so they got exposed by the team from Washington. And I think they're going to get exposed this week by the Bills. I think they're a pretty good team that got lucky with a simple schedule. I think the Chiefs are still the cream of the crop, and I believe the Buffalo Bills are number 2 in the AFC. I got the Packers and Saints 1A, 1B in the NFC with the Seahawks right there in the NFC. That's my.
I would say Bills and Saints are the top. Playing the best ball, I guess you could say right now.
Bills and Saints.
I'm not a believer in the Chiefs. They're winning, but they don't look great. Like Pittsburgh was winning, and all the Pittsburgh people that graced my timeline were like, "But we 11-1 now," and they had all the memes, but Pittsburgh hasn't been playing well for a few weeks now. Like, you could see this coming.
I got
okay. So in fairness, I literally did see it coming, and I think I'm the one that predicted Washington would beat them. Right?
You did?
Yeah. Remember, you said you were going to remember those picks, Rodney.
Did you write them down?
Remember last week?
You're the first person in the world.
I don't remember that one.
You're the only person in the world that picked that one.
I said because
I thought it. I just didn't say it, but I thought it.
Well, I said it. Now, that being said, I don't know that I'm okay with them being 4th because they have a recent loss, but I don't agree that they're extra vulnerable, because if you do what you need to do to win the games, and they have won the games 11 times, and they faltered once on a game that was weird, then I don't know. I think we need to see more of what they do while they're quote unquote struggling at 11-1. And then as far as the Chiefs are concerned, as a 49er fan, I know firsthand it doesn't matter if you win ugly, if you win the last game. They won that damn last game, and it didn't matter how rough things were for them going into the Super Bowl. They had a better fourth quarter than us and beat us. So I think the Chiefs have proven that they can do what it takes, and they might be better than they were. I think they are better than they were last year, and they find ways to win when they probably shouldn't. So I wouldn't count them out. That being said, I believe in what you guys are saying. I believe in the Bills. I believe in the Saints. I believe in the Packers. Even if I don't like any of them, I believe in them. So I'm with you guys on the top teams, but I don't think we should write Pittsburgh off.
Well, too, man.
No, they're missing James Conner, so I definitely wouldn't.
He was activated, so that's gonna make a difference.
Yeah, that's their starting running back. So I definitely wouldn't write him off. But I look at Big Ben, and I'm like, all right, some of these throws he's making, they're terrible. Like, you go as your quarterback goes. So, I mean, they practically, when they played Baltimore, it was like playing the church mother's board. Like, they weren't anything without Lamar Jackson.
The mothers.
On the other hand, my Raiders has beaten the Chiefs and the Saints.
Hey, Jimmy, 49ers are sitting starters too, and not on purpose.
Hey, we sitting starters in Philadelphia on for different reasons. For different reasons. Yeah. Matter of fact, we don't know who our starters are. We just playing ball. We don't have one number 1 receiver on the field. Everybody practice squad.
Yeah, but Buffalo is probably playing the best ball right now.
Who you don't want to see right now, Buffalo.
Yeah, they're hot.
Hey, can you guys, Long Beach people, can you break something down for me? So I grew up in LA, right? And there was a certain neighborhood that was in love with the Seattle Mariners hats. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. There was a certain neighborhood that loved Seattle Mariners hats. And so they didn't care about the Mariners, but they loved the gear, you know, the blue hat with the gold S. Where does the Steelers thing come from for Long Beach?
You from Rolling 20 Crip, you wear Pittsburgh Steelers gear.
What's the connection, though?
They foresaw Juju being drafted. I don't know. It was just the same reason why Saints picked the Raiders.
It got hyped up a lot when Snoop and the East Siders and all of that stuff started coming out, and it got really like there are some legit people from Long Beach who were and always were Steelers fans.
Yeah, long time ago.
Like, but then there are a lot of them who jumped on the bandwagon because it's like, oh, Rolling 20s weird. I mean, and the same can be said for Raiders. There are a lot of people who were Raiders fans, and then there are some who jump on the bandwagon because Insane Crip wear Raiders gear.
Okay, so I'm gonna fight that. Here's okay. Thank you for clarifying it. But it can't be the same, Rod, because the Raiders were actually here. The Steelers are X amount of 1,000 miles away.
It wasn't always about being a fan of the team. It was just your affiliation with that set, and that was the neighborhood team. So we had the west side of Long Beach. We wore Cowboys gear. Am I muted? No, I think I'm all right.
Go.
The west side of Long Beach, you wore Cowboys gear if you were from West Coast Crip. If you were from 19th Street, you wore the Saints. If you were from the East Side, Rolling 20 Crip, you wore. It was just a team that affiliated with different. Now we would get confused because West Side Longo Latino gangs wore Raiders too. Right. So you kind of just don't wear Raiders if you don't want to get mistaken. Then you don't wear Saints, you don't want to get mistaken. You don't wear Steelers if you don't want to get mistaken. So all I really could wear was my Eagles gear. I was cool with that. Nobody was tripping on me on my Eagles gear. But if you wear anything else, you had to make sure it was, you didn't wear no red teams, because then you would be like, what's up with that? You can't wear no Cincinnati Reds. I think we couldn't even wear Oakland A's because A's was a Pyru set. But since there were no Pyrus in Long Beach, we just
and definitely no Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh yeah, that was our.
Well, no, that's literally the Pyru hat.
Literally,
so we know that.
Yeah.
That's like that's like
especially in Long Beach, in Long Beach, because there are no bloods and there are no blood gangs in Long Beach. So Long Beach really had that. Like, no, you're not walking around with that hat on.
I had to explain to my buddy. He came to our team from Alabama. And he's like, all right, Cobb, what can I wear and I can't wear? Let me know what's the list. Y'all seen that movie? Was it The Wood? And kid had the North Carolina hat. It was blue, right? And in the Blood neighborhood, it's like really the fabric of your culture in that neighborhood. You just had to know what you could not wear and you should not wear. Even the stuff that was affiliated with the neighborhood group, you don't want to be labeled as a buster or a mark, somebody that's posing to be on somebody's set. So you just avoided those different teams. So it worked out for me. I couldn't wear no Cowboys gear, no way, because I was an Eagles kid. But I did have a Drew Pearson jersey with the net Drew Pearson jersey. My mom brought it home from the thrift store. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
From Zodi's?
No, thrift store.
Oh, okay.
Purple Heart thrift store. Secondhand store.
In your case, the 5 and dime.
In your case, the pick and save.
Now, maybe you understand what he said.
Okay.
The swap meet.
I got you.
Yeah, but nowadays, just about any hat you could think of is gang affiliated.
So in your case, Rodney, it was like the village potluck? Okay, I get it. And
I'm going to show you a footage. I got footage, Carter, of a Insane versus 20s football game from like 1987. I got an actual footage of a game they play at the park, and you would be surprised to see how many Steelers jerseys and black and gold ensembles were made by the 20s group. And then the Insane group was all black and gray. They were the ghetto Raiders versus the ghetto Steelers. And that's just what it was, man. They didn't think much of it.
All right. So I appreciate that. And so here's the other thing. And this probably
you know they bang on the north side. I'm sorry, but Dietrich, students up on the north side. They definitely bang in North Long Beach.
I was scared of North Long Beach.
Man, I grew up, man, as much as
No,
we used
Dietrich
to
said he
go-
didn't have to worry about it because he was banging, so he was protected. That's what he's talking about.
He
yeah,
loved it.
okay.
He loved his
Yeah,
pandemic. He can wear his
He
mask
had
now.
to be gang banging.
He can wear his bandana around his face now.
Yeah, right.
I swore when I played basketball for Hughes and we played Hamilton, I thought all of them were fresh out. They they already had gangster nicknames.
They already had tattoos. They already had teardrop tattoos.
Yeah, they did.
Middle
They
school.
did. I remember there was a guy, his nickname was Twat. I don't know where Twat is, but Twat could shoot the lights out.
Twat.
And Twat hit us for like 30 in the 9th grade.
Twat.
That we didn't have anybody can guard him.
Twat.
Twat. Twat.
That was his nickname. I don't even know his real name, but we knew him as Twat. That was his nickname. And Twat probably should have been a D1 player because in 9th grade there was no one could touch him.
Twat.
I don't know what happened to him, but
That's
Twat,
a
if you're out there,
you don't want to be called a
I
twat
don't
today. It's a bad term now.
No.
I believe that's something you call a young girl you don't want around your son.
oh, that's
So
pretty
just so we're
good.
clear, Rodney mentioned playing basketball for Hughes. He played there when it was called middle school number 1, and Hughes was actually his teammate. So it just as easily could have been called Saucier middle school at this point.
It was called junior high back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
And
junior
it
high.
went 7th through 9th. We didn't have 6th graders on campus. That's elementary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when
Okay.
Rodney was the first class of kids.
Yeah,
And
they were all in one classroom, Cobbs. What are you
like
talking
little
about?
rascals. Like they
Look
had
at
Miss
this
Gillis.
here.
Miss Crabtree was
Look
his
at
first
this
teacher. It was
So-
Rodney.
So one thing that I did learn, and I don't know how I learned it, but I learned about a Steelers connection for Southern California. And it was because some steel mill relocated thousands of its workers to Southern California. And a lot of them went to the Inland Empire and started doing stuff out this way. But overall, that's aside from what was it, Rolling 20s, you guys said?
I think they just liked black and gold. I don't think that had nothing to do with why Long Beach.
Well, no, I'm saying beyond the Long Beach
connection
component,
part?
there are a lot of Steelers fans in
Oh
California.
yeah, oh yeah, that's big.
And I'm saying I found out that it's because a lot of people were Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania transplants to Southern California, specifically from the steel mills. And I didn't know that till like 3 or 4 years ago because I was always wondering about that whole thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they got a fan base that's nationwide anyway. I mean, certain teams, the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, they got nationwide fans, much more so than some of these other teams. So,
Some teams ain't got local fans.
but
Like
yeah,
San Diego Superchargers.
Right. Superchargers.
they got 6.
I think Tesla has more charging stations than they got fans.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, man.
What
All
else we got?
So going back to it, what are we missing?
I'm gonna let you know UCLA is gonna win tomorrow, 35-28. It's gonna be another barn burger. I don't think Jimmy's gonna pop on with us. If he's this late, something else is going on.
Yeah.
But I'll give you my 2 cents because I'm about to go have some lunch.
Okay.
But UCLA is going to win, and this is my reasoning is SC does not run the football. And when you have a one-dimensional team in a rivalry game, you're susceptible to being exposed. The many years that we've played SC and we should get smashed and we don't, it's because USC comes in with a big head looking forward to Notre Dame. I don't think they have Notre Dame this year. I don't think they play that game this year. But I know that we run the ball pretty well. Even though we don't throw the ball very well, we can throw the ball. They refuse to run the ball. So in that fashion, we have a shot. Also, our defensive backs have been playing a lot better recently, and I think that we have a chance of doing a lot better than Washington State did last week. So they haven't seen a good defensive secondary or linebacker core in a couple of weeks. I don't think they've seen a very good team this year. They're 5-0, but they haven't beaten anybody of note. They play the same team that UCLA played, but we're playing a pretty good ball right now. So I do believe the rivalry thing will cancel out the records. And I think we have just as many players that have NFL potential as SC, even though SC has a few standouts, like Amon-Ra St. Brown is an automatic NFL player. And I believe the big kid on the other side is an NFL player as well. But other than those two guys, some of the other guys I'm not too impressed with. All the 5 stars that they have, we're still waiting to see them develop. And I believe for some reason the UCLA players are finally beginning to believe in Chip Kelly a little bit. I still don't believe in him a little bit. I don't believe in him enough for me to say he's the guy, but I believe we have enough momentum to make this game fall in our favor. So I think it's going to be a good game. I'm glad we got 3 wins instead of, going into this game 1-4, 3-2 feels a lot better. And getting that win last week versus a very good ASU team. I'm sure we beat them when they were down because this is only their second game of the year, but they're still a very good team. And we shut down a very good quarterback last week. So I think we have a really good shot. Again, 35-28 Bruins.
Thank you.
Don't bet, though. Don't put the money on it.
Yeah, 38 clap, 35-28 Bruins.
Don't put no money on it. All I can still hang my hat on is that we never lost. It's very, very possible we go out there and stink it up. But I do believe we got a good shot tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the score. I think it'll be some points on the board like that. USC is not playing great. They're winning, but they're not playing great. And UCLA is playing a lot better. So, you just kind of got to look at how they're trending.
Yeah, I think if UCLA can keep the game close, they can definitely win. I think they need to strike first. I think that's always big with UCLA.
We can't come from behind. If we get behind, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if we strike first and, that'd give us some momentum and we should be good.
Yeah, I get afraid of teams who force the ball to one player too much. They throw the Amon-Ra St. Brown like almost every other play, it feels like. And, sometimes, especially in that second half, one pick changed the momentum. It's a wrap.
Yep. SC will not stop our running game. James Mack. I don't think they will. That's why I think it's going to be a lot different than what you saw last week from what Wazoo didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even scratch them. I don't think they even tried. They didn't even practice at all and played that game. So it will definitely be a big win. And sometimes SC's downfall is they look past UCLA, where they think they're bigger and, badder. We're going to play Notre Dame in a couple of weeks, and we're going to go to this bowl game in a couple of weeks, and UCLA is not, and they overlook us, and then we have to smack them in the mouth. I'm not sure what kind of mindset Clay Helton has those boys playing at. Are they still playing for his job? That might be, part of the reason why they've been playing a lot better this year. They know that their job, their coach's job is on the line. So maybe the student athletes like him at head coach, whereas us fans, armchair quarterbacks got something to say about him every time it's time to get a new season started up. And he's not the guy, but who else you going to get? If you're not going to get Urban Meyer, you're stuck with him. So the kids are like, we stuck with our coach. Let's play for our coach. They're playing a lot better. So we'll just see how this goes. This game determines a lot of the boosters and the decision makers' decision whether they're going to keep this coach or not. Did you beat SC? When I was at UCLA and Terry Donahue would come talk to us before the game, this is the game, guys. He was like, this is the one. Let your hair down. We want you to play your best ball today. This is that one game. We ain't got to win no games except this game. This is the game. We're like, dang, this game must be really important. Like, and then we found out this job was on the line every year, depending on how that game went. If you win that game, your job is secure. And I just thought that was pretty interesting. Every year he was
That's
like,
great.
I don't care if you wear towels. I don't care if you wear face hair. I don't care if you don't wear the polo shirt to the game. As long as you guys play hard this Saturday. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. All year long, we've been under all these restrictions and couldn't even wear a mustache. But SC week is anything goes because you want us to play fast and play loose. Yeah, like we play like gangbusters versus SC. We were out there wearing towels and wristbands, and brothers had earrings on and facial hair and letting their hair hang down. Like if you just let us play this all year long, you might have a better team. But it's interesting, man.
Yeah,
That's funny.
One game.
all right. There we go. All right. So I've still got. Wait, who's getting off? Oh, okay. All right. Let's go to the closeout, and I still have Clemson over Alabama in the championship. Trey, you can close out.
All right, man. I just want to kind of tough, man. I just want everybody to be safe out there, man, with all this COVID stuff going on. Yesterday alone, 222,000 new cases. And right here in LA County, over 9,000 cases, 75 deaths, and one of them was a kid. That was tough for me when I saw that on the news yesterday because I got two little ones of my own. I literally broke down. It's real, man. Everybody wants to get their Christmas shopping done. Get it done. It's real easy. Do it online and have them bring it out to your car and put it in your trunk. That's what I've been doing. And it is so easy. And the lines, you don't have to deal with them. It's going to be tough for people to stay inside when you're saying stay at home. However, you can have 20% capacity in your store. A store like Target, where you can have 20% of the capacity in there, you can have 300 people in Target almost to be at 20%. And I went to Target because they were taking too long to bring the stuff out, and I just ran inside and picked it up from the desk, man. And when I tell you the lines were all the way down the aisles, nobody social distancing, people still in the malls, the mall parking lots are crowded and all of that. Like, come on, man. And it's going to get worse until we do better. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am going to do better. And that's the way we're going to get through this, man. But it just really hit home with me, man, when an innocent kid lost his life. And the kid probably didn't even want to be outside, was probably outside with his parents. You know what I mean? And that just sucks, man. That sucks. Any life is bad, but when it's a kid, man, and they got, a bright future ahead of them, it's just a terrible situation. So wear your mask, man. Love y'all brothers, man. And y'all have a good week.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. Have a good week.
Yes,
Now I'm gonna get this little one on this spelling test right quick.
All right. All right, go ahead, Trey. I know Trey has to go. That's why I let him. That's why I had him go first. Cobbs, as our guest host, go ahead and close out. Here, I'll help you out, Trey.
Well, I don't have anything that much different than what Trey just said as far as us continuing to be safe and do what's right and use wisdom. It's unfortunate we can't enjoy tailgate like we used to do in the past. It seems like ancient history now when you can go back, like when Rodney was young. We can go to a game and see our team in person. And we were asking, like my wife and I were asking ourselves, will there ever be a time when we can go to a game? Like when our son is playing high school ball, can we go to the game? Can we ever look forward to that again? I believe we can if we do the right things now. If we do what we're supposed to do now, get this thing under control, we will. This whole vaccine situation, I hope that, works itself out. Me being a government employee at a school district, I can see them trying to force things on us, but I just hoping for the best, man. I'm praying for the best, and I'm praying for all y'all. If you don't know it or not, I'm praying for you guys as my friends, my associates. You guys make my life a lot better. These platforms, these forums where we can just come out here and unwind and just talk trash, man, and have a good time. It's really therapeutic, man. And I think some of the guys can appreciate it on the line. Lonnie and James, Mac, Mike, Stafford, them guys, man, this is fun to us, man. So I really appreciate you guys, and just continue to just do your thing and be positive and see the light at the end of the tunnel, man. Nothing but blessings to you guys, man. Till next time.
Hey, definitely appreciate that. I want to say this. I didn't want to call him on it because it was so emotional as Trey was getting off. But what did he have a mask on in that picture with Chuck Liddell? And did Chuck Liddell have a picture on in that picture with Trey?
Hypocrite. Nope.
Yeah, I was kind of confused by that because he don't know that man, and neither one of them cheesing had masks on. So I don't know where he was. It didn't look like he was outside, but I guess it's do as he says and not as he
Well,
does.
as long as he ain't kissing on them. I mean, you can stand next to somebody and take a picture with them and not get Rona if he had Rona. It's just a matter of being careful, extra careful.
Oh,
so he might maybe he kissed him after the picture. I don't know.
okay. All right. So for my closeout, I'm just gonna go to a demonstration again. Check this out. You can still hear me. I'm still very clear. You can still hear me enunciate. So I don't need to do this for you to understand what I'm saying. The acoustics may be a little different once I do this, but you could listen and cover up your nose. That's not wearing a mask properly. It looks stupid, feels stupid, all of that. Oh, Rodney's little landline didn't ring today. Yeah, just be careful, be safe. It is so sad that the child passed away in California. For those of you who are wondering, the child had something called MIS-C, multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome, and the child wound up having complications from COVID-19 that led to the passing. So that is horrible. It's horrible that people are dying. What was it? 3,000 deaths yesterday over across the U.S. It's just horrible. Stay home as much as you can. Forget those gatherings. If you do have to go to a store, just stay protected. You know, the few times that I've had to be in line, I am a mean one. Like, get away from me. Like, that's what that little spot, that little circle on the ground is for. Go over there. Don't get so close to me. I'm very rude when it comes to that. Shout out to my mom. My mom is on here giving us trophies. Bam, bam. All right. Shout out to Judy Carter. Yeah. So anyway, you guys be safe. Wear your masks. Please encourage your children to wear masks. Protect them. Just take this seriously. I remember having a conversation with someone in April, and he was like, how do we know this is worse than the flu? And I'm like, listen, you could be skeptical, but just protect yourself. And I hope that he now sees all these months later that it is worse than the flu. And if not, then he's like a bunch of others that don't understand that. But it's real. It's true. This is episode 40. This has been episode 40 of the Collective Podcast. I am Anthony Carter. Trey Hopson bounced. Rodney Saucier is there. And my man, Anthony Cobbs, has joined us once again. Anthony, where can they find you weekly?
You can find me AC Sports Live Tuesday nights on Facebook. I just opened it up to YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. And Friday nights, 1585, Jimmy Mack and myself, we go live 1585. I wore 15, he wore 85. And we hang out a little bit, talk trash.
Bam. And they both went to
UCLA.
Speaking of Bruins, I always shout out TreVon Moore because he's always on here. Shout out to my guy, my best friend through college, Thaddeus Massey. He played also. Shout out to my brother from another mother, Tommy Bennett, who wore number 8.
The funniest dude I know, Tommy Bennett.
There you go. And and Tommy and Cobbs got a little taste in playing after college. That's shout out to them. All right, I'm out of here. Rod's out of here. Cobbs is out of here. Trey is out of here. Thank you, James. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Dietrich. Who are we missing? Michael Stafford. David Smoot. Anybody? Did we miss anybody?
Smooth.
All right, everybody that came on, we appreciate you. Thank you. If you enjoyed this, please share it. Please join us every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock
Peace out.
Mountain, 2 o'clock Central. I couldn't remember the other time zones. All right, we out.
Peace out, bro.
Be safe.
Free Mac gave us all love as we close. All right, y'all.
Hey, clap. U-C-L-A. U-C-L-A. Fight. I messed that whole clap.